Whether you're using an older Apple Watch or you've just picked up one of the brand new models like the Series 11, the Ultra 3 or the SE 3, there are loads of things that your watch can do that I reckon most owners have no idea about. So in this video, I'm going to share 12 of those tips with you. Okay, let's get into it. If your Apple Watch has an S9 chip or newer, so that's the Series 9, the Ultra 2 or any of the recently released models including the SE 3, you can take advantage of gestures. There are two that are really useful: double tap and wrist flick. For double tap, simply tap your index finger and thumb together twice. You can use this to answer or end calls, snooze your alarm in the morning, play or pause music, or if you do it from the home screen, it will open your smart stack so you can scroll through glanceable information. I use this gesture all the time when I've got a timer running while I'm cooking because it means that I can access the timer with one hand without needing to press the crown. The other gesture is wrist flick, and it works really well alongside double tap. Using that same cooking example, once I've checked the timer with double tap, I then want to go back to my main watch face. To do that, I just flick my wrist away from me, and the watch takes me back to the main screen. You can use wrist flick anywhere in the watch, and combined with double tap, it is a really quick way to operate key functions with just one hand. Let's say you've got a timer running on your Apple Watch, and partway through you realize it needs to run longer. You don't have to wait until the timer ends and start a new one. You can edit the existing timer, although there is a bit of a caveat. So for example, let's say that I've set a 10-minute timer, and with 2 minutes left, I decide it actually needs to be 15 minutes. What I really want to do is add 5 minutes. So instead of 2 minutes left, I want the timer to have 7 minutes left. The way to do this is to use Siri. Just access Siri and say, change my timer. Your watch will then ask what you want to change it to. In this example, you'd say 7 minutes. The existing timer will reset and start fresh with that new time. It would of course be nice if you could just say add 5 minutes to my timer, but this isn't an option right now. So if you need to extend a timer, this is the way to do it. A really good feature in WatchOS 26 is automatic volume adjustment. Your watch listens to the ambient noise around you and adjusts the volume of calls, notifications, and Siri to match. So if you're in a quiet cafe and you get a notification, it will come through very softly. But if you're out on a busy street and take a call on your watch, the volume will automatically boost so that you can hear it properly. The best part is you don't need to enable anything for this to work. The only thing you need to do is make sure that silent mode is switched off in Control Center. If you've just picked up a new Apple Watch, one of the first things that you want to do is find a strap that doesn't just look good, but actually works for your lifestyle. And that's why I've been using the Snap Duo watch band from MOFT, who are sponsoring today's video. Every strap has 2 colors, which means you actually get 4 different looks in one. You can flip between the 2 sides or switch it up depending on your outfit or even just your mood for that day. It's a simple way to make your watch feel more personal without having to build up a big collection of straps. My personal favorite is the black and stardust band. I think it's just a classic look and it pairs perfectly whether I'm using it with my watch or my Watch Ultra. But what I like about MOFT is that they've also got plenty of brighter, more vibrant options if that's more your style. You can see here I've got all of the available color combinations: black and stardust, orange and blue, green and blue, yellow and purple, and blue and gray. So whether you prefer something bold or something more understated, there's a style that fits. The way that they attach is really clever too. They've got this strong magnetic closure, so it's really easy to resize, and it feels secure the second it snaps together. You'll see here how quick that snap-on action is. It just works. And they've also got this smart bi-directional connector, which means you literally can't put it on the wrong way. They're made from soft silicone, so they're light and comfortable to wear all day. And if I'm working out, I just add the little sport strap piece for that extra secure fit. They're also waterproof and stain resistant, so they can handle pretty much anything you throw at them. If you're looking for a strap that feels great to wear and gives you the freedom to change up your style whenever you want, check out the link in the description or the pinned comment to get yours today. The watch faces on your Apple Watch are very customizable, especially on the Watch Ultra, where you can add loads of complications and set it up exactly how you like. If you've got a watch face that a friend or family member would like too, they could go through the Watch app and copy your setup, but there is an easier way. You can share your watch face directly with them. To do this, open the Watch app on your phone, tap on the face that you want to share, and in the top right corner, you'll see a share button. From there, you can send it however you like: AirDrop, messages, and so on. If you tap into options at the top, you'll see an option called include without data for each complication. What this means is that when you share your watch face, all of the complications will share in their generic form without including your personal data. By default, this is already set to not include personal data, but it is worth checking before you share it. The Compass app on your watch is one of the most underused features, mainly because people assume it's complicated, especially if you're not familiar with how to read a compass. But the Compass app actually has a couple of really useful features that anyone can take advantage of. Open the Compass app on your watch and you'll see a lot of information, but don't get too hung up on all of that. The two buttons at the bottom are the ones that I would recommend focusing on. The one on the right is called Backtrack. Tap on this and you'll be prompted to record a path. Once you start recording, if you head off the beaten track, say you're out walking somewhere unfamiliar, your watch will automatically track the path that you take. Later, you can use it to retrace your steps and find your way back along the exact route that you came. It's a really handy feature. I used it all the time when we were walking the dog in areas that I didn't know. It let us wander freely, safe in the knowledge that we'd always be able to get back without any kind of stress. The other button at the bottom of the Compass app is Waypoint. Tap on this and you can save your current location as a waypoint. By default, it will be named with the date and time, but you can edit that to give it a custom name if you prefer. You can also pick from a range of icons to represent it and even set a color to help it stand out. This was probably designed with hikers in mind, but there is no reason that you can't use it in everyday life too. For example, if you're out in town as a group and you've got a start point, you could mark it with a waypoint so that you can easily get back to it later. When you want to return to a saved waypoint, tap the info button in the top left of the compass, scroll down to waypoints and pick the one that you want. Scroll again and choose target waypoint, and the compass will guide you back to that exact location. By the way, if you're enjoying the content here, you should definitely check out the Proper Weekly. It's my free weekly newsletter that lands in your inbox every Friday, packed with tech news from the week, content I've been enjoying, and a handy tip for the Apple ecosystem. Just scan the QR code on screen to sign up or follow the link in the description. If you struggle to see the time on your watch face, but you don't want your watch speaking the time out loud every time that you check it, there is a feature called Taptic Time that's worth trying. This uses the haptic engine in your watch to vibrate the time to you. To enable it, go into Settings on your Apple Watch, scroll down to the Apps section and tap on Clock. Scroll down again and you'll see Taptic Time. Tap into it and switch it on. There are 3 modes that you can choose from: digits, terse, and Morse code. With digits, the watch conveys hours and minutes using long taps for 10s and short taps for 1s. So for example, 2 long taps, then 3 short taps, followed by 3 long taps and 4 short taps would mean 2-3-3-4 or 11:34 p.m. It does take a little practice, but it is the most precise of the 3. Terse gives you the time in 15-minute blocks, so it's less precise. It uses long taps to represent 5-hour blocks, short taps for the remaining hours, then long taps again for each quarter hour after midnight. So for example, 3 long taps, 4 short taps, and 2 long taps would mean a time between 7:30 p.m. and 7:44 p.m. And then there's Morse code, which taps out each digit of the time in Morse. If you already know Morse code, that might be the one for you, but otherwise you'd need to learn it to make use of this mode. Once you've chosen your preferred option, to check the time, just place and hold 2 fingers on the watch face. If your watch speaks the time instead of vibrating, open Control Center and put the watch into silent mode by tapping the little bell icon. Then try again and you'll feel the haptic taps. One tip, I've found that this works best if you slightly separate your 2 fingers on the watch face. If you keep them too close together, sometimes the watch doesn't register it properly. A new feature in WatchOS 26 is the ability to customize Control Center. You can access Control Center by pressing the side button on your watch. At first glance, apart from the slight visual refresh in WatchOS 26, it looks the same as before. But if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see an Edit button. Tap on this, and in the top left corner, you'll see a plus button. Tap that, and you can scroll through a range of different controls to add to your Control Center. The list isn't huge right now, mostly first-party options with a few extras, but I'd expect more to come over time because Apple has opened up the Control Center API to developers. That means that app makers can start creating their own widgets for this page. While you're in edit mode, you can also move items around to set the order that you prefer. And if there's anything that you don't want, just tap the little red minus button to remove it. Your watch has a feature called theatre mode, or cinema mode here in the UK, and it's designed for exactly that situation when you're in a theatre or a cinema. To access it, open Control Center and look for the drama masks icon. If you don't see it, scroll all the way to the bottom, tap Edit, then press the plus button in the top left and add it from the available options. When you switch theatre mode on, your watch will go into silent mode, and if it has an always on display, that will turn off too. The idea is that your watch stays completely silent and discreet, so you don't disturb the people around you. If you want to check the time, just tap the screen and it will light back up. But here's a trick that a lot of people don't know. If you're in a really dark space and you don't want the screen brightness coming on too strong, slowly rotate the digital crown upwards. The screen will fade in gradually, letting you see the time without bothering anyone nearby. When you finish, just go back into Control Center, tap the drama masks icon again, and theatre mode will switch off. If you ever find that when you're using an app on your Apple Watch, the screen jumps back to the watch face too quickly, there is a setting that you'll want to check. On your Apple Watch, open the Settings app, tap into General, then scroll down until you see Return to Clock. Tap on this. By default, it's set to Always. That means that as soon as you put your wrist down, the watch will automatically jump back to the clock face. That's usually why apps seem to close themselves so quickly. You can change this system-wide or on a per-app basis. For example, if you set it to after 2 minutes, your watch will stay on the app that you're using for up to 2 minutes or until you press the digital crown. And if you've got a watch that supports the wrist flick gesture, you can still flick your wrist to return to the watch face instantly. There's also a 1 hour option, which is really useful if you're out on a walk, a bike ride, or doing a workout, and you want the workout app to stay open for as long as possible. And if you want to get more granular, you can. For example, you might leave the system-wide setting on Always, but then go into specific apps like Activity or Workout and set Return to Clock to Custom. You could then set those apps to stay open for an hour while everything else continues to return straight to the watch face. It's a really handy setting to know about and worth tweaking to match how you use your watch. This feature is quite niche, but I think it's worth including. You probably already know that your watch has a feature called Water Mode. To turn it on, open Control Center, scroll down and tap the little water droplet icon. With Water Mode enabled, your screen becomes unresponsive until you long press the crown to turn it off. It's designed for swimming, but if you've got small kids, this can be an absolute lifesaver. I mentioned this in a video about 1.5 years ago when my kids were babies because I was using this all the time. I don't need it quite as much now that they're toddlers, but the same idea still applies. If they spot a screen, to them, a screen is a screen, and they want to press it. Enabling Water Mode when I'm playing with them means that I can be sure that they're not going to accidentally press something on my watch that they shouldn't without having to get stressed about it. Try it out if you haven't already. You probably already know that you can use your Apple Watch as a remote control for the camera on your iPhone. To do it, go into your list of watch apps and choose Camera Remote. Your watch will connect to your iPhone and show you a live preview of whatever your iPhone's camera can see. But here are a few tips that you might not know. First, if you tap the ellipsis in the bottom right corner, you can switch between the front and rear cameras. You can also use the digital crown to scroll through all of the zoom options. 1x is the default, but if your iPhone supports it, you can zoom out to ultra wide or zoom in quite far. To take a photo, just press the shutter button. But if you'd like to record a video, the best way is to keep your iPhone in photo mode, then long press on the shutter button. That will immediately start recording. You can press pause to pause the video, the shutter button to snap a photo during recording, and stop when you're finished. This doesn't work if you start in video mode, so that's why photo mode is the better option. And finally, keep in mind that while your watch and phone can't be too far apart, the range is probably longer than you'd expect. So if you ever need to remote view your iPhone camera over a short distance, this can help. I mentioned this in a previous video. A friend of mine was trying to work out which lights in his newly renovated house were connected to which breakers in the fuse box. By propping his iPhone up to face the lights, he was able to go to the breaker box, check his watch, and figure out all the circuits in real time. I was out driving with a friend the other day while they were using CarPlay, and they mentioned that it was driving them crazy that their watch vibrated with every direction along with CarPlay. And it made me realize a lot of people probably don't know that this is a setting you can change. To find it, go into the Watch app on your iPhone, scroll down and tap on Maps. In here, you'll see a section called Turn Alerts. There are 4 options that you can toggle on or off. walking, cycling, driving, and driving with CarPlay. The way that I set mine up is to keep walking and cycling enabled, but turn off driving and driving with CarPlay. For me, if I'm using my phone in a holder or I've got CarPlay on screen in the car, I don't need my wrist buzzing every few seconds. That said, this is down to personal preference. On a long motorway journey, for example, having your watch buzz when you're approaching your exit can actually be really useful. But if you do a lot of short trips around town, you might find it more annoying than anything else. So take a look at these options and set them up in the way that works best for you. So there you go, that was 12 tips for the Apple Watch. What do you think? Any tips that you think I should have included but didn't? Drop me a comment and let me know. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.